Hey guys, it's Dan from VR Lifestyle. So I just want to talk to you guys about how we got our first jobs online and how we sort of approach getting new jobs and just how we sort of changed our mindset from our old ways of work, you know, in the corporate lifestyle or in construction to working as freelancers online. I started off 4 years ago, we got here, and we'd done a little bit of research knowing that Danielle could get some sort of job online. We hadn't looked into it too much, but we'd seen some of the basic skills. We thought, okay, there's some big blogs out there. Somebody's got to be managing them, and there's got to be some sort of manpower involved in it. So we did a little bit of research, and we realised, yeah, that it's out there, and it's a definite possibility. So that was one of the ideas that we had when we got to Costa Rica, and the other one was our fallback idea, I suppose, was me being a carpenter and working on the ground, which we were totally open to. It was more about just getting here and having a good time and just whatever. It was sort of how we roll. We just whatever works, we'll just try that. If that doesn't work, we'll just try the new thing. And it's sort of the approach we've always had with everything we've ever done. I think I've been like that since I was a kid. I was just keep trying something else. But yeah, so we got here, and I wasn't that excited about being a carpenter, you know. I'd done it for a long time and I'd sort of lost my passion for it, and I wanted to spend some time with the kids, and because I'd been working the last couple of years, and Danielle was, she hadn't worked for a couple of years, and she was really keen on the idea of working online and working from home. It was at least one of us we'd both be at home then. If one of us was working, we'd still both be at home, whereas my job, I would have been, if I worked here, I could have been gone all day, you know. Some jobs I might have had to sleep away for the week, you know. It was definitely not what we wanted to do, but it was something we were willing to do just to maybe make the adventure last a bit longer. So Danielle got online looking for some jobs. A week and a half later, I think it was, she got 4 jobs, and I hadn't even made a phone call, so it was pretty clear that the online world was what we were going to try, and I was going to be a stay-at-home dad for a while. So that's what we did. Danielle got on there, and she was studying through the nights and, you know, working through the days. She got in a role where it was pretty cool. She could learn as she was going, sort of thing. There was no formal training or anything for that, you know. It was just completely jump in, just get it done and figure it out along the way. And I think that's something that it's pretty common in the online world, freelancing. It's when you start off, you sort of get a little bit of knowledge before you start, then you work and you're learning more as you go along, and then you're sort of constantly doing that forever. Whereas because there's new softwares coming out, there's new marketing strategies coming out, it's just going to be this ever-evolving thing. And it was a bit of a mental shift for both of us, actually. We're both used to, okay, I was a carpenter, you know, I did my training, then you do your on-work training like as an apprentice, and then you're sort of a tradesman, and there's a few things you figure out and learn along the way, but it was essentially like study, like train on site, and then work. And it's the same with a lot of roles that Danielle's had in like corporate world. It's been, you know, she went to university and studied, and she did a lot of on-site training, and then it was like, okay, you're qualified now work away. It's nothing, it's been, in our experience, it's been nothing like that. It's been, you know, work, study, figure that out, I'll stop, get some work done, okay, figure that out. The first 2 years was definitely like that. And yeah, that brings me into like how I got my first role online. I was watching Danielle, and we were just really enjoying this life. Like, okay, we're all at home all day, every day. We're having all our meals together. You know, Danielle's working all day, but you know, we talk she has a break every hour and a half or 5 minutes, comes down and says hello and has a cup of tea or whatever. It was a game changer for us. So I was like, okay, I'm interested in this now. This was after about 6 months here. So, okay, I like the way, I never saw myself as being able to work on computers I could barely type at that stage, and I was like, okay. But I wanted to do it. I thought, this is going to be great if we can both just have this life forever. So I started learning how to type. That was the first thing I thought, okay, I'm going to need to type. That's the very first thing I need to do. So I did a bit of these online typing courses, taught myself how to type. And I approached it very differently because Danielle was already working. And I still had to take responsibility of the kids. We had a nanny to help us out, but the girls were really young at that stage. It was pretty much like, and we didn't want it to be hard. We came here for a good, easier life for us and the kids. So it was pretty much, I would do a bit of studying at night time and I'd hang with the kids and the nanny during the day, and we'd do it sort of like a teamwork sort of thing. And yeah, and like I said, Danielle was there most of the time too. She'd come down and hang out, and it was just super easy. But anyway, so I learned how to type, and then I just sort of put myself out there locally, and there's a lot of guys, a lot of people in expat communities, you know, a lot of people work online. And it's becoming more and more. Like the longer I've stayed here in Costa Rica, the more and more expats are moving here, and the more and more of them work online already. You know, so I started putting it out there to everyone I knew that I was interested in doing something, you know, and I just wasn't really worried about getting paid about it for it at first, because I knew I couldn't commit to a full-time job or any sort of really strong structured role. So one of my friends, he knew that I was keen, and that, which is the most important part, that you want to do it. So he said, yeah, you know, I do a bit of niche affiliate marketing, and I've got all these little niche sites, and I'd be happy for you to manage a couple that, and start them off from scratch and just have a play around, and you can train with one of my friends, another one of our friends that work with him, and they'd sort of train me up, and I'd build a few of these sites from scratch for them. So it was sort of a bit of a win for them, because they didn't care how quickly it was. I had a certain time frame I had to do it in, but it was definitely doable for me. So, and it was learning off a friend who had a couple of kids that were my kids' age, so you could bring the kids around and we could sort of all hang out and just drop into it and drop out of it, and that's how I got into it. And I learned a lot from, I didn't learn a lot in a quick period, but I did learn a lot over time, and it got my foot in the door, you know. I learned some skills, and I was picking up a lot of stuff that I was learning with him. Danielle already knew as well, so you know, we'd be talking about stuff a lot at night. She'd give me a few pointers on if things fell stuck, and I had them to email if I wanted to. So we approached it both differently at the beginning. That was sort of our situation as parents as well, you know. Someone had to jump in and go full throttle, and then the other one of us had to sort of sit back and just sort of learn in the holes that we could. And then since then we've both worked full time. Danielle was pregnant, she worked less and I worked more, and it's been this ever-changing thing for us. But at the moment, it's pretty much both of us working full time, but you know, it's so flexible that we don't feel like we're working full time. We'll do a couple hours at night if we have to, maybe an hour or two on the weekend. So it's like we work every day. We usually have one day off where we do nothing, but we sort of prefer to have that freedom of everything at the same time. So yeah, so I was just wanting to do this video today to sort of share to you guys that you'll never feel like you've studied and got everything ready to get your first job online. Or just an opportunity will arise. You'll figure it out. If there's something you don't know, you just figure it out. You be open to your client, open with the client, whoever you start with, that you don't have experience in this field, but you might have experience in another field that's similar, and that's a great way to get your foot in the door. So for us, we had two different scenarios, and everyone's going to have a different scenario. Someone had to jump in full time, and someone had to do it slowly. Every family's going to have a different setup and different way they're going to jump in, and they're going to want to go down a different road. So there's no way to do it. It's just going to be whatever works for you guys. I hope this helps, and the reason I wanted to do this video is to share with you guys that it's always going to be this constant working, learning, changing environment that you're in when you're working online, and just to embrace that, and just to don't feel like you don't know something or you can't learn something, because the information's out there. You just have to be confident and you'll get your start and you'll be working online in no time. Alright guys, till next time.